Imagine standing beneath the blinding lights of a national television studio at just 14 years old, watched by millions of eyes, only to be told that your journey ends in the semifinals. For most teenagers, that moment would mark the definitive end of their grandest dreams, a bitter memory locked away in the past. However, in the modern landscape of the entertainment industry, failing on a reality television stage is frequently the greatest hidden blessing a rising creator can receive. When Lucy Thomas walked off the stage of The Voice Kids UK in 2018 without a trophy, the public assumed her name would simply dissolve into the long list of forgotten contestants. In reality, what followed was a digital anomaly that completely inverted every established theory of the conventional music business. If you dissect the historical data of traditional talent show winners, a deeply concerning structural pattern immediately emerges. The vast majority of those who manage to secure the grand prize are instantly bound to highly restrictive, exclusive contracts with major multinational record labels. These corporate agreements frequently dictate every single aspect of their creative output, ranging from the exact genres they are forced to sing to the public image they are required to maintain. Even worse, unfair revenue-sharing models ensure that the actual artist only receives a minuscule fraction of the real wealth they generate. By choosing an independent path immediately after her elimination, this young star's management successfully bypassed these legal traps altogether. They did not need to wait for a boardroom of corporate executives to approve a single music release. They only needed to understand how to feed the digital internet algorithm. The strategic decision to immediately migrate her growing brand to a global video platform proved to be the foundation of a multi-million-dollar digital operation. While traditional television networks lose millions of viewers every single year to online migration, an independently managed channel began quietly building an immensely loyal audience base. Data proves that television viewers are inherently passive consumers who easily forget a personality within weeks after a season finale concludes. In sharp contrast, digital platform users are highly active consumers who develop deep emotional attachments through direct engagement in the comment sections and repetitive playback loops. This complete freedom from corporate bureaucracy allowed her team to experiment with content formats without the destructive pressure of immediate commercial returns. As the channel's viewership metrics began to skyrocket into the tens of millions, a fierce debate erupted among digital music critics and professional vocal coaches. If you take the time to read through the thousands of messages posted under her videos daily, you will find a highly polarized divide regarding production quality. On one side, millions of loyal fans claim that the sheer beauty of the vocal delivery is undeniable proof of a rare, generation-defining talent. On the competitive side, however, audio forensic analysts began breaking down the vocal tracks, uncovering clear indications of highly aggressive post-production processing. Accusations regarding the heavy utilization of advanced digital pitch correction and tuning software began to surface across the internet. This technical controversy is deeply rooted in the demands of the digital platform itself, which rewards flawless audio quality above almost everything else. In the world of modern studio production, the line between aggressive digital manipulation and standard frequency cleaning is incredibly thin. Several vocal analysts have pointed out that her transitions between notes sound almost too precise, an achievement that is nearly impossible for a human being to maintain consistently across live sessions without digital assistance. This extreme vocal smoothness frequently removes the natural, human imperfections that listeners typically encounter in a raw live performance. For musical purists, this is viewed as a form of artistic deception that reduces the core value of genuine vocal art. However, from a pure data analysis perspective, this artificial perfection is the ultimate secret weapon for maintaining viewer attention. The modern human ear, having been conditioned by decades of heavily produced radio pop music, subconsciously prefers stable, clean audio frequencies free from raw distortion. When a video delivers a sonic profile that is perfectly smooth, the listener's brain processes it as a stress-relieving stimulus. This creates what behavioral digital experts refer to as a hypnotic loop effect, where the audience doesn't just listen to the track once. They leave the video playing repeatedly in the background while they work, study, or relax. The ultimate result of this audio controversy was not a loss of reputation, but a massive, unstoppable spike in total watch time metrics. One of the most fatal mistakes rookie music content creators make is their desperate obsession with chasing overnight trends. They rush to create cover videos of whatever track is currently viral on short-form video apps, hopping to ride the temporary wave of popularity. This strategy carries a catastrophic flaw. The relevance of modern pop music is incredibly short, often dying out within weeks to be replaced by the next viral clip. When that trend inevitably dies, the creator's traffic graph plunges straight to zero. The strategic team behind this channel understood the danger of this short-sighted loop and opted for a much more stable, calculated approach. They implemented a brilliant system known as Evergreen music arbitrage. The entire focus of the channel was redirected exclusively toward legendary, timeless masterpieces. Songs like Hallelujah, Unchained Melody, and I Will Always Love You are not ordinary musical compositions. They are global cultural monuments that possess a massive, permanent search volume on the internet every single day, regardless of the year or season. By producing high-quality videos for tracks that already command millions of organic searches per month, the channel never had to fight from scratch to discover an audience. They simply positioned their content directly in front of an immense, pre-existing traffic highway. Furthermore, selecting this classic catalog triggers an incredibly powerful wave of nostalgia within cross-generational audiences. When an older viewer hears a beloved song from their youth performed with crystal-clear modern studio quality by a young artist, the psychological combination creates deep emotional satisfaction. Geographic analytical data reveals the stunning global reach of this strategy. The viewership is not merely concentrated within the United Kingdom, but spreads massively across the United States, Brazil, and multiple regions of Southeast Asia. This stands as in how selecting the right content assets can dismantle cultural and linguistic barriers with absolute efficiency. In the realm of digital content management, there is a terrifying phenomenon known as audience fatigue. No matter how exceptional a performer might be, if the visual and auditory format remains entirely unchanged for months, the audience will eventually experience psychological boredom. The retention graphs will begin to show a gradual, steady decline, and the recommendation algorithm will quickly pivot to promote fresher channels. Recognizing this looming threat to their metrics, the management executed a brilliant tactical maneuver that dramatically the channel's growth. They introduced her younger sister, Thomas, into the production ecosystem. The decision to feature these sibling duets was far more than a basic cosmetic change. It was a highly effective exercise in mass audience psychology. From a visual analysis standpoint, having two performers on screen creates a much more dynamic viewing experience compared to a solo act. The audience is no longer locked onto a single individual. They begin to track the non-verbal communication, the shared glances, and the natural harmony between the two sisters. This genuine familial bond introduces a profound layer of authenticity that internet audiences desperately crave, especially in an era where consumers are increasingly exhausted by the superficiality of mainstream media. On a technical audio level, blending two distinct yet complementary vocal textures creates a vastly richer harmonic structure. When the smooth, leading soprano vocals are layered over a secondary voice that fills the lower and mid-range frequencies, the final product sounds significantly more cinematic and emotionally overwhelming. When you analyze the performance data of the channel, the video clips featuring these sister duets consistently rank at the absolute top of engagement metrics. The average view duration increases significantly, and the social sharing rate skyrockets, proving that adding the right human element can act as a massive catalyst for algorithmic growth. If you observe the current landscape of online video platforms, you will see the absolute dominance of highly aggressive visual aesthetics. Creators are practically forced to use rapid cuts every 3 seconds, flashing animated on-screen text, loud sound effects, and exaggerated facial expressions on their thumbnails. All of this is done for one desperate reason: to hijack the shrinking attention spans of modern internet users. Yet, in the midst of this exhausting visual chaos, this independent music channel did the exact opposite, launching a strategy of extreme visual minimalism. The visual format of their videos has remained entirely unchanged for years. The camera is placed completely static on a tripod, with zero complex panning, zooming, or tracking movements. The background is nothing more than a dimly lit professional recording studio wall. There are no sudden text pop-ups, no flashy transitions, and no extravagant costume changes. The singer simply stands quietly in front of a large studio microphone, closes her eyes, and begins to deliver the song. To modern content theorists, this exact format was originally flagged as a guaranteed recipe for total failure because it appeared far too slow. However, the real-world data delivered a completely inverted result. In a digital world that is completely oversaturated with overstimulating visuals, this extreme simplicity acts as a peaceful oasis for the viewer. The audience never feels like they are being manipulated or forced to look at something. Instead, they feel invited to share an intimate, private moment inside a recording studio. The greatest business benefit of this anti-trend strategy lies in its incredibly low production costs. Without needing to hire large camera crews, rent expensive locations, or spend weeks in complex post-production editing suites, the channel consistently produces high-yield content, generating profit margins that major commercial studios could only dream of. Many amateur content creators make the mistake of chasing raw view counts as their ultimate metric of success. They assume that gathering millions of clicks from hyperactive teenagers on social media is the highest achievement. However, when viewed through a business lens and examining platform advertising revenue, known as revenue per RPM, not all audiences are created equal. Younger viewers generally possess almost zero disposable purchasing power and heavily utilize ad-blocking software, meaning their financial contribution to a creator's ecosystem is highly restricted. This is where the brilliant hidden targeting of this channel comes into play. By intentionally building a catalog around classic tracks from the 1970s through the 1990s, the channel automatically filters its incoming traffic, focusing heavily on an adult to elderly demographic between the ages of 40 and 70. This specific demographic exhibits incredibly unique digital consumption behaviors. They possess a high tendency to watch videos all the way through without skipping, as they did not grow up in the culture of rapid, short-form swiping content. Most importantly, this age bracket holds the highest financial stability in modern society and represents the primary target for major corporate advertisers in finance, health insurance, and luxury automotive sectors. The direct impact on the channel's balance sheet is massive. The ad rates paid out for content that captures mature, wealthy audiences are exponentially higher than those paid for general teenage entertainment channels. Furthermore, this specific audience possesses an incredibly high level of brand loyalty. Once they develop an emotional attachment to a digital artist, they do not hesitate to spend real money purchasing physical albums, ordering official merchandise, or joining premium monthly fan memberships. This explains how a channel that appears modest and simple on the surface actually operates as a highly optimized, incredibly lucrative money-printing machine behind the scenes. For well over a century, London's West End and New York's Broadway have stood as the ultimate gatekeepers of the highly exclusive musical theater industry. To set foot on these legendary stages, an actor or singer historically had to climb a grueling, rigid corporate ladder. They were required to graduate from elite drama academies, endure hundreds of highly competitive open casting calls, and spend years working unpaid, minor roles just to build a resume. Traditional theater producers are notoriously protective of their industry standards and have historically looked down upon talent born from open internet platforms. However, the raw power of undisputed digital data proved that it could bring even the most arrogant traditional industries to their knees. When it was officially announced that Lucy Thomas had secured the absolute lead role in a major, historic West End musical production, the traditional theater community experienced a massive shockwave. A young independent singer had won one of the most prestigious roles in London theater without a lifetime of formal acting credentials or a deep history in local stage productions. Dramatic critics immediately questioned the casting decision, accusing producers of sacrificing high artistic standards for the sake of temporary internet popularity. For the theater producers managing the financial balance sheets, however, this decision had nothing to do with artistic speculation and everything to do with data-backed business certainty. Launching a major musical production in a metropolis is a massive financial risk. A single season of low ticket sales can easily bankrupt a production house. By casting a digital star who already commands hundreds of millions of video views and a fiercely loyal global fan base willing to travel across countries to see her perform live, the producers effectively reduced their commercial risk to absolute zero. The digital metrics from a simple YouTube channel successfully bypassed over a century of theater tradition, proving that in the modern economy, direct ownership of an audience is the ultimate currency that no gatekeeper can refuse. The incredible journey from a rejected reality television contestant to a global independent streaming powerhouse offers a profound lesson regarding the transformation of our modern world. The old entertainment business model, where an artist's entire livelihood was completely dependent on the subjective mercy and decisions of a few record label executives, is officially dead. We are witnessing a historic era where the democratization of digital media allows anyone with an internet connection, a microphone, and an understanding of algorithmic systems to build an international empire straight from their home. The definitive key to this modern success is not about possessing the largest corporate budget or securing primetime television placement. It is entirely about the disciplined consistency of delivering pure emotional value to a highly specific, high-value demographic. Through a highly calculated combination of evergreen song selection, pitch-perfect audio processing, soothing visual minimalism, and an understanding of mature audience psychology, a completely independent channel has successfully matched the output of multi-million-dollar entertainment conglomerates. This is the new, unyielding blueprint for the global creative economy. Ultimately, this data-driven success story leaves us with a highly provocative, reflective question about the future of human talent. When digital algorithms prove to be vastly more accurate at discovering, developing, and monetizing human potential than professional talent scouts with decades of industry experience, what is the true utility of our traditional educational and commercial casting systems? Or must we finally accept the reality that the future of art, fame, and entertainment now belongs entirely to those who can read the charts, analyze the graphs, and master the silent codes running behind our digital screens?